some easy ideas, and by no means is this an exhaustive list of ideas, but these are some of the chat blasts that I've run that have been successful, and of course these are chat blasts that I'm sure 99% of you could probably run in your businesses. Promoting a limited time sale, right? So if you're an e-commerce business, which many of you are, a very common thing is to run a sale. So you could use chat blasts to promote a new limited time sale. And remember some of those psychological principles of persuasion. If you're promoting a limited time sale, then you want to convey that sense of urgency in your chatbot, and we'll talk about how to do that. Offering customers a coupon code, right? You might be running certain types of sales on your website, but you might want to send out a special coupon code to your Facebook subscribers. That's a way to make them feel sort of they're on an exclusive platform, they have an exclusive coupon code, and that can be something which is very successful. Running a poll or a survey, I gave you that example in a previous lecture that we did a design contest for one of our higher end clients. That's sort of like a contest, but then you could run polls of what products are people's favorite products, surveys about their experience with your brand, and then you could start saving these custom attributes like we spoke about as a net promoter score. How likely is somebody to promote your brand? How happy, like starting putting together a happiness scale. Polls or surveys are really good for that. That will allow you to ask your customers for a referral. So you could use chat blasts to send out a referral request or a special link that people could share if you connect MobileMonkey to something like Get Ambassador, and you could send out a referral request or promote our brand request to your happiest and most engaged previous customers. Like I said, running a contest, I'm sure that many of you guys can think of different ways to engage an audience. We'll build out a chat blast in this lecture about running a contest. Promoting new content on your site. Do you have a new ebook? Do you have a new case study? Do you have a new testimonial? Do you have a new blog post? All these pieces of content could be promoted through Facebook Messenger, through chat blasts. You could introduce a new product. If you have a new line or a new version of a product, you could also promote a new way to use an old product. News is very effective. I talk about this a lot. This has been the case for many, many years in advertising, going back to David Ogilvy days and Claude Hopkins days, and this is going back into the early 1900s, that people have always found that when you advertise something in the form of it being new, or like a new product, or a new way to use an existing product, or a new addition or change to a current service, those types of messages are much more appealing than the similar messages that contain the same information but not phrased in a way that is new or it's promoting news. Promoting a new service or updating to an existing service, like we said. And then you could also just use chat blasts to highlight your unique selling propositions. What makes your brand special? What do you offer that your competition doesn't? Your marketing techniques can't just be buy from me because I want your dollars and don't give them to the competitor, right? That's a selfish ask, and embedded within that subconsciously or subtly is like, you should potentially sacrifice for my sake. But we would never do that. If we're making a buying decision, we would never sacrifice an advantage of ours for the sake of helping some consumer brand, some retailer. So your requests and appeals for people to buy from you can't just be like, here we are, like just give us the money and not our competitor the money because we're here and we're asking for it. You need to offer the consumer something that's advantageous about your product. Give them a promise that your competitors aren't making. Tell a story that your competitors aren't telling. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be distinctly different on every dimension from your competition. It doesn't mean that at all. What it means is that you need to talk about your products and services in a way that tells a story that not everyone else is telling. So if it's about your manufacturing facilities, or if it's about the quality of craftsmanship in your product, or if it's about the range of options, or if it's about the quality of your customer service, whatever it is has to be phrased in like, we're taking a gamble on you, we're investing in you as the consumer, in your success, in your satisfaction. We want you to return that and reciprocate that and invest in us. So that's a way and chat blasts are just the medium to get that message across effectively. And like I always talk about when we talk about marketing psychology, the mediums will change. 5 years from now, there'll be other channels. 5 years ago, there were totally different channels. Now Facebook chatbot marketing is extremely hot and will remain hot for a long time. But what hasn't changed much in the last 100 years is human nature. What hasn't changed much is how people basically relate to advertising, how they make their buying decisions, which brands they have affinity for. And when you understand those concepts, then you'll be able to use the mediums, the channels, to your advantage.